How you doing there, YouTube? We're going to jump into our U.S. news. Just a smattering of U.S. news, various bits and bobs here happening. Of course, we'll be covering more of the continued rise of fascism. Can't miss that. It's just every single day. And of course, we got to talk about Mitch McConnell, right? But I did want to start off with this. I believe this was Woke Patriot in the Discord. I miss this guy. I miss Bernie being relevant. You know what I mean? I miss Bernie Sanders being a relevant political entity, right? Please be patient. Thank you. Exactly. Chem Goblin. Thank you. But this is great. This is not old Bernie Sanders. This is Bernie Sanders from just a couple days ago.
Unbelievably, our life expectancy is actually declining. Our child care system is dysfunctional. Millions of parents unable to find affordable sites for their kids. We have a major housing crisis. 600,000 Americans are homeless. And, oh yes, the planet is on fire, and the world we are leaving future generations will be increasingly unhealthy. But somehow, we never have enough money to address those crises. Mr. President, if we have learned anything about the COVID pandemic, where we have lost over 1 million Americans, and climate change, which is causing massive destruction throughout the world, it is that national security is not just about nuclear weapons, submarines, and fighter planes. It's about making sure that all Americans have decent health care, education, housing, and other necessities.
Stupid is dangerous. I can't stress this enough. Stupid people, if you get enough of them in your country, you're in trouble.
Of life. I ask for 30 unanimous consent for 30 more seconds.
Without objection.
Year after year, with very little debate, we pour hundreds of billions of dollars into the military-industrial complex. This year, it's about $900 billion. While defense contractors make huge profits, while the Pentagon remains unaudited, with massive waste and fraud, we now spend more than the next 10 nations combined.
Unaudited.
Enough is enough. It's time to change our national priorities, and cutting military spending by 10% is a good way to begin. Thank you.
Someone's got to say it. So this was a speech about cutting military spending. And we could easily cut military spending while increasing the help we send over to Ukraine. You see what I mean, folks? Just ignore them. That's how big and bloated the budget is. We could actually increase the amount of resources we send to Ukraine while also cutting the military budget. But just wanted to show that. Thank you very much, Woke Patriot, for that video in the Discord. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody in the Discord that contributes. Got to talk about neoliberal dubs. I'll take anything. I am a hungry baby bird, okay? I am a hungry, starving baby bird, and I will take whatever fucking worm is dropped into my mouth in terms of good news. Right, from our politicians. So I'll take it. Thank you, Joe Biden. This is a great move. I fully agree with this. Woke Patriot, don't do it. Just ignore him. President Biden over here signing an executive order to move prosecution of military sexual assault outside of the chain of command. Right, I'd be hitting my applause button if I had it. Right, this is great because there is a nasty reputation of sexual assault happening to female soldiers, and the internal mechanisms that are meant to, keep the military accountable. It keeps itself accountable. Fail and fail and fail. Soldiers get raped. Female soldiers get raped. Then they don't get justice in the military courts. So this is an essential move. This is a great move. And we're going to see female soldiers feel safer, feel like they can serve in a safer environment, which is absolutely what they deserve. They don't deserve to be preyed upon by their commanding officers, right? Raped by their fellow officers and soldiers, by their supposed to be their comrades in arms. Over here getting raped by them. It's a serious problem. Look into it. It's a serious problem. So this is great to see. Thank you, Joe Biden. Run on it. If I could tell the neoliberals one thing, run on it. Tell people about this in your advertisements. Right? Let people know that you do this. I wanted to show this. I'm not going to show the whole 15-minute video. It's MSNBC Mehdi Hasan. Gross. But we need, look, because the bad actors, like the ones that we have in our chat, the bad actors will constantly say, oh, it's the worst economy. It's the worst economy ever. It's the worst economy. Biden's economy. Bidenomics failed. Bidenomics failed. One, Bidenomics is the worst fucking name I've ever heard of. Right? Two, historically, Democrats have better economies than Republicans because there's less grift. Because the Democrats spread the fucking resources around a little bit more efficiently, right? And there isn't major economic issues. So we see this administration after administration after administration. And it does need to be pointed out because we can't let the bad actors, right, lie to us, like the Tucker Carlsons, right? The fucking Sean Hannity's, the Brett Baers on Fox News, right? The entirety of Fox Business, right? Oh, Bidenomics, it's ruining our economy. It's ruining our economy. You look at the numbers next to Trump, right? And they tell a different story, as they always do. Right? So let the contrarians flap their gums, because there's some real world differences between right wingers and neoliberals.
It's the economy, stupid. The immortal words of Bill Clinton aide James Carville during the...
If I never hear the words James Carville for the rest of my life, it will be too soon. I'm so absolutely sick of James Carville being brought up in his little fucking "it's the economy, stupid," which is condescending. Condensation. No, it's am I wrong? It's the economy, stupid. It's a little smug, right? Isn't that shit smug? That was back in the 90s when the Democrats were the fucking highfalutin, high on top of the world. It's the economy, stupid. You calling me stupid, James Carville? Fuck you. Of course, that's not what he's saying. He's, whatever. But, I don't know. MSNBC needs to stop talking about James Carville. I feel like he's gotten his day, right? Enough.
The 1992 presidential campaign, the idea that it's the economy above all else that defines election races and outcomes. Well, we're less than 16 months out from the next presidential election. So how is the US economy doing right now? Not good, says the conventional wisdom. Disastrous, say the Republicans, and they, of course, blame Joe Biden and Bidenomics.
Bidenomics is spelling a summer of suffering for every single American.
They stand up and they say, no, the economy is good. The economy is horrible.
The worst economy in 40 years.
Gas prices and food prices and the rent and utility prices because of Biden economics.
Bidenomics is, having people lose their jobs.
More hardship, more suffering, and more pain for the American people.
The sky is falling. Well, actually, no, it isn't. Quite the opposite. The Republican description of our economy is inaccurate, false, for want of a better word.
Yeah. So is Panda Man gonna listen, right? Are the bad actors going to listen to this next segment? You know what I mean? I will say though, Biden is not doing nearly enough for like as Joe Scarborough will say, kitchen table issues, right? The economy, right? Joe Biden is doing a couple things for some people, and it's, and there's some good news, but there's a lot of people getting left behind, and the day-to-day costs of everything has gone up. And I haven't heard Joe Biden say like word one on profiteering grocery store corporations, profiteering oil companies with these gas prices that are absolutely ridiculous. Right? Is he going to go after their profits? Is he even going to threaten them? Right? So yeah, some people are getting helped out around the edges, right? And it is technically better than what the Republicans would do. Right? But ask yourself, is this the best the left can do? Joe Biden? Some relic from the fucking 60s. Dude, you can look up a Jimmy Carson bit. Jimmy fucking Carson, the talk show host, doing a goddamn political comedy bit about Joe fucking Biden. That's how long he's been around. And this is the best the left can do? I'm telling you, the political power that this person has, that he's not using to help and assist the left, is unbelievable. You would not believe it. The things that he could actually do for the left with the amount of power that he has. That's where progressives are pissed off. It's like you're king of the fucking world. You got the whole world in front of you, and you don't change anything.
A lie. A big lie.
Just little things here and
but
there.
You know what? The numbers don't lie. And the numbers, the economic data, are on Joe Biden's side. Because the US economy is in way better shape than just about anyone predicted a year or two ago. Way better shape even than under previous presidents, both Republican and Democratic. So let me break it down for you today. Let's look at 5 key economic areas: jobs, manufacturing, growth, inflation, and wages. First,
now, to be fair to Trump, who does not deserve it, who does not fucking deserve it, but to be fair to Trump, COVID, that was a pretty big economic hit, okay? Let's not pretend like it wasn't.
Up, jobs. The unemployment rate fell to 3.6% in June. It's now been under 4% for 17 straight months. That hasn't happened in more than half a century, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Employers added an average 314,000 jobs a month this year through May, plus another 200,000 last month. That's almost 2 million new jobs in the economy this year alone. In Donald Trump's 4 years in office, the economy lost nearly 4 million jobs.
The progressive critique would be, okay, how many of those are actually living wage jobs, right? Jobs that are actually paying enough for somebody to pay the rent in an apartment that meets their financial level. Impossible, right? And then they can also afford food and the daily expenses. How many of those jobs were actually paying a living wage, right? That's the big progressive critique against Joe Biden's brag about his job numbers. And it's the same thing, man. It's a bunch of fucking McDonald's jobs. And no offense to people trying to get by working your job, right? You're doing what you can, but they're ripping you off. That's why you got to join that union. These fast food corporations, these retail corporations, paying you as little as humanly possible and dreaming of the day that they can replace your ass with a fucking robot, right? You have every right in the world to demand as much wage as possible from these fucking oligarchs. Anyway.
Yeah, but that just means Biden is benefiting from a post-pandemic bounce back, right? Wrong. We actually got all the pandemic jobs back by last summer of 2022. And in the 12 months since, we've added almost 4 million new jobs on top of that. So sorry, GOP, we've gone way beyond pandemic recovery here. Since taking office, Biden has added more than 13 million jobs to the economy, and he's created more jobs in 2 years.
Yeah, Woke Patriot, great point.
than any other president has done in a full 4-year term.
Oculus, great
In
point.
fact, so far he has created more jobs
Thank you.
than the last 3 Republican presidents combined. And those job gains are being felt in heavy industries. Remember, the previous president ran as the guy who was going to bring back manufacturing.
We're here today to talk about rebuilding our nation's infrastructure. Isn't it about time? We will once again rediscover our heritage as a manufacturing nation.
But in fact, it's Joe Biden who's getting America.
He's such a teetotaling, fancy fucking lad. You know what I mean? Right wing over here characterizing Trump as some manly man. He's a fucking pudding boy. It's a fucking joke. Teetotal. Boop, 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 boop. Push him over like Tweedledee dee and Tweedledum. You know what I mean? Holy shit. I'm just so sick of this.
America, to borrow a phrase, to build back better. Employment in U.S. manufacturing is at its highest level since George W. Bush was president. 800,000 new jobs.
You know, Woke Patriot, good point.
$200 billion in new investments by manufacturers, fueled by Biden's new spending via the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, and the CHIPS and Science Act. In fact, in a research note last week, that the well-known socialist institution Morgan Stanley wrote that Biden's Infrastructure Act is driving a boom in large-scale infrastructure led by manufacturers and builders. More new roads and new homes are being constructed. In fact, Morgan Stanley says Biden's economic policies have proven so strong that the bank was forced to...
You paying attention, Panda Man? What are you doing? Jerking it or something? You paying attention?
...revise its own estimates of U.S. growth upward. So let's talk about that growth. Just today, new growth figures came out showing U.S. GDP grew at a 2.4% annual rate over the second quarter of this year. Economists had been predicting 2%, so way above that estimate. The U.S. economy is growing. And don't forget, for the past 2 years, we were fed a constant diet of recession predictions. Not just on Fox, but across the entire political spectrum, the whole punditocracy. In fact, the pointy heads at Bloomberg last year said the odds of a recession in 2023 were not 80%, not 90%, but 100%. It looked inevitable, unavoidable, but it hasn't happened. Bidenomics, quote unquote, has not just prevented a new recession, it's produced a rather unique post-crisis recovery. Because the last time we had a prolonged economic crisis, the Great Recession.
Ooh boy, he's gonna look kind of silly if anything whack happens with the economy in the next 6 months.
Barack Obama got us out of it, but it took 4 years for stocks to recover their lost ground, and it took employment more than 6 years to get back to its pre-recession peak. The Biden recovery from the pandemic has been faster and stronger. Stock markets are booming, with the Standard & Poor's 500 up nearly 20% on the year, and the tech-focused NASDAQ index is up over 35%. I know what you're thinking. Isn't that growth fueling higher consumer prices? Record inflation. Not anymore. Inflation dropped to 3% in June, according to government data released earlier this month. That's the lowest level since March 2021, and just slightly higher than the Fed's ideal rate of 2%, thanks to Bidenomics.
Yeah, but has he mentioned, okay, so inflation's been going down, but why have prices been going up? Gee, that's the $1 million question. Why are things still so expensive and prices haven't followed inflation? It's corporate greed. Hello? You know, what are we doing? We got to stand here with our dicks in our hands. The fucking answer is corporate greed. It's corporate greed. We see it's rampant in Canada as well. And the neoliberals, whoop. Loblaws just reported. Loblaws, major grocery store company, the famous No Label grocery store, right? The yellow No Label brand, right? Record profits. Record fucking profits. Never made more money than now. Are we going to talk about this? Right? Where are the neoliberals on that? On the rampant corporate profiteering on top of inflation. Right? Where's this competition?
Don't believe me? Just look at the rest of the world. Something Republicans probably don't want you to do. Because for the past 2 years, they have tried to blame Biden alone for U.S. inflation, completely ignoring that it was a global phenomenon. When U.S. inflation was high, so was the rest of the world's. And now the rest of the world is still enduring high inflation rates, but the US is not. Not only does the US have the highest GDP growth rate of all the G7 countries over the past 3 years by far, but also now it has the lowest inflation rate. Inflation here is less than half the rate of Germany and Italy and the UK. In fact, inflation has gone down for 12 straight months in a row. If Republicans want to say Joe Biden is responsible for the high inflation, then they obviously now say he's responsible for the low inflation, right?
No. Hey, so Panda Man, why are the numbers showing like this? Why is it like this? Clearly, it's not Bidenomics, right? So what is the reason? Is this Trump? I know, Chem Goblin, I'm sorry. Being invaded by Russia will do that to you. But no, Panda Man, Mr. Smart Guy, why is inflation going down? Why is the economy looking better if Biden's supposed to, if everything's supposed to be, heading on the verge of disaster? Why is that?
Right? And you know what else is now beating inflation?
But it's working. So that sounds like that was the right policy then, to hike those interest rates. Because it's actually working. So how is this bad? How is this a bad thing? Because I guarantee you, if this was Trump, you'd be jerking a fucking orange Cheeto right now, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? You'd be cranking it until the fucking gooey shit comes out. The motherfucking cream cheese. That's disgusting. I need my soundboard. Without my soundboard, I can't say these incredibly disgusting, derogatory things and then juxtapose them with a silly sound effect. It just sounds like an old man saying disgusting things in his garage. It just doesn't have the same zing to it. All right, let's get back to the video.
Workers' wages, they're going up faster than the prices of goods. Up more than 4% since last year, higher than that 3% inflation rate. And Americans are not just making more money, but saving more of it, with a study of 9 million Americans showing they had 10 to 15% more money in the bank now than in 2019. Stronger wages and savings have led to something else, a drop in income inequality.
Well, you gotta, it's Trump, right? Who knows what comes out of Trump? Only Stormy knows. Where's my soundboard? God, I need my soundboard.
Last year, the incomes of the bottom half of earners actually grew faster than the income of the top 10%.
I'm naked.
That could be a start towards closing the insanely high gap between America's richest and poorest. So yeah, Republicans, the economy is in a terrible state if you exclude jobs, manufacturing, growth, inflation, and wages.
And we see it in the chat, right? Ignore this, ignore reality. He's not even denying that what Mehdi Hasan is saying is true, right? They have their own reality. They have their own set. They always have an excuse. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what's real and what isn't real, right? So stop giving them time in your life, in the debate, right? Okay, yep, we know you're a terrible person. Moving on. That's what you have to do in your life. Because look, we see in the chat. It never ends. It never fucking ends. It doesn't matter what the reality is. They're going to barrel ahead anyway. They're not, the crux of it, they're not honest actors. Right-wing conservatives. Right-wing conservatives. They don't care what reality is. They have a goal. They have a goal. And what's the goal? Full authoritarian control over the country. And that's not being hyperbolic. Right-wing conservatives want full control over the country. They basically want to abolish elections. There'll still be elections, but they won't matter. They won't count. Okay? They're a hammer looking for a nail. Cut them out of your life, and for the love of God, stop wasting your time debating them. Because it just does not matter how many facts you present them with. It doesn't matter what the reality is. Right? Yeah, but. Right? It just does not matter, right?
Now, look, do I sound like a Biden press person right now when I explain this stuff to you? Yeah, maybe. But don't shoot the messenger. These are just the numbers I'm giving you. The numbers. And the numbers don't lie.
Thank you for the follow, weak, worthless commie. Very nice of you. Thank you.
And again, remember, none of this was inevitable or the norm after a crisis. It required action, leadership, tough.
All right, yeah. Okay. You want to watch the rest of this puke? You can go ahead and catch it right here. Here's the link. But I just wanted to get into the numbers. I just wanted to show the numbers part at the beginning. Because the people that are saying both sides are nihilists and they're wrong. Both sides, I give up. Both sides, I give up. Well, congratulations. You know who fucking loves you for doing that? Jeff fucking Bezos, Elon fucking Musk, right? The people that run our lives, right? Howard Schultz of Starbucks, right? Mr. Wonderful, that fucking disgusting oligarch on TV every fucking minute, right? Kevin O'Leary, the oligarchs. Okay? They love it when you give up and say both sides and then don't participate and don't vote. You become a good little fucking consumer. While they rape us. And I'm talking rape, dude. I'm talking for real. Like fully exploit, I should say. Maybe the R word isn't the right word. But fully and shamelessly exploit us for every penny. Look at the writer's strike. The amount of money that they would have to cut from their profits was less than 1% to meet the demands that was being asked of them by the writers. That's how much, less than 1% of their profits. That's how much humanity, right, was going to cost them. And they were fighting tooth and nail for it. Tooth and nail. Right? I mean, weak, worthless commie, it's beyond ironic, right? What am I supposed to do here, though? You're on the platform, and the reason why you're on the platform, because it's the largest platform. So we're all fucked, aren't we? I've been banned twice so far. All right, so moving on. Welcome to global boiling. I'm sure you fucking felt it. It's hot as shit. It's hot. Hot like a skillet. Woo! It's hot. Welcome to global boiling, folks.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has issued another stark warning on climate change, saying the era of global boiling has begun. The UN's World Meteorological Organization is predicting this month will be the hottest in human history. Mr. Guterres has described the current intense heat in the Northern Hemisphere as a cruel summer.
According to the data released today, July has already seen the hottest 3-week period ever recorded, the 3 hottest days on record, and the highest ever ocean temperatures for this time of year.
It's cold outside.
Climate change is here, it is terrifying, and it is just the beginning. The era of global warming has ended, the era of global boiling has arrived.
Welcome.
Laura Patterson is a meteorologist who also happens to be the World Meteorological Organization representative.
I agree with the overwhelming evidence that climate change is real. And so does Jeff Bezos on some level, as long as it doesn't affect his profits. And now I'm the tool. Great. Are you supposed to, you run around calling yourself a communist, but you're so ghoulishly uninformed that you don't even accept the reality of climate change? My God, man. My God, you're making Trotsky weep in his fucking grave wherever Stalin put him.
Representative and coordinator to the UN. Welcome to DW. Is that hyperbole from Mr. Guterres? What does that mean, global boiling?
Well, it's the truth is in the data. This is by far the hottest month that we've ever seen on record. The even fact that we could speak about this so confidently.
How the fuck am I supposed to recognize sarcasm through text, you jackass? You are a communist, aren't you? You are a fucking communist. You want the whole world to conform around you. You are a fucking commie. Jesus.
As the scientific community today, before even the end of the month, is really an indication of how much warmer it's already been. The data set that this depends on actually shows that the 21 hottest days ever recorded have all taken place this month. So it really is quite exceptional.
And do these record-breaking temperatures mean things are worse than we
Call yourself Chandler Bing, and then I will know that everything you say is totally sarcastic. Okay? Help a brother out.
thought they would be? Or is this what you'd have expected from climate change going unchecked?
This is consistent with what predictions have been showing for some time. So, as the scientists have been saying for many decades, increasing the greenhouse gases in the atmosphere will increase our global temperatures. This year in particular, because we've now also got the start of an El Nino, that gives an extra boost to global temperatures, and the combination of those two has resulted in this really exceptional month.
Okay.
So I think it's fully aligned with what the scientists have been warning.
Okay, so I was trying to work out how worried I should be. So this is predictably worrying rather than, oh my goodness, this wasn't what we were expecting. So does this mean that climate change is now beyond us? Is it out of control?
Well, I think...
Oh, was he being sarcastic? Was he being sarcastic? I don't really like the Hitler stuff. Look, go ahead and appeal your ban if you want to say that you were being sarcastic. But I can't really... Jeff Bezos doesn't really allow that shit to fly around here, brother.
I think we're definitely not on the trajectory that we need to be. So if that's how you define out of control, you know, countries have agreed to go on a certain path, and we're really, you know, we're not following that path at all. We are continuing to increase the concentrations of greenhouse gases, you know, year on year, and as a result, we're seeing the planet warming as to be expected. But that's not to mean that it's not worrying. It, you know, as scientists have been calling for many years, this is really concerning, and it is continuing to happen unabated.
Okay, so, and just draw us a line then between this warming by a couple of degrees around the globe and the devastating heat waves and wildfires that we're seeing at the moment and that we're seeing so much more frequently these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as the average temperatures go up, it means that you're basically just moving up the baseline. So the most extreme hot weather that we ever used to expect is now becoming sort of more, you know, more frequent. And the highest peak of temperatures that we can expect is now higher than it used to be before, you know, the average temperature increased. So definitely, as the average increases, we can continue to expect to see more of these extreme heat conditions. Obviously, there's, you know, been many recorded over the past week even, and across North America, Europe, and Asia. The increase in temperature also means that the atmosphere can hold more water, so we can expect to see increased levels of flooding as well. The heat also obviously exacerbates drought. So I think we can continue really to expect to see the same, you know, the same as what we're seeing now is going to be what we're going to see more of in the future. And if we continue to warm, we'll see even more extremes.
Okay, thank you. Well, it's at least you'll keep plugging away at that message, and we hope that eventually it will get heard. Laura Patterson from the World Meteorological Organization, thank you.
Okay, I unbanned him. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Okay, well, there you go. I mean, I just, you know, no one cares. Everyone's probably leaving. They're probably yawning. They're probably bored to tears. They don't care. They don't fucking care. They don't care. They don't care. Right, but I like to put it in there anyway. Let's get to the juicy bit. Wow, kind of poo-pooing them. What? The climate activists? No, I mean, I think it's great. I mean, it's just no one cares. No one cares. We've entered global boiling, whatever that means, whatever, some buzzword, right? Does anyone care? I wish they did. You know, The problem is that we have to hold a bit like the don't look up shit. Well, I mean, no, I mean, they're the news clip that we just watched, they did the best they could, right? I mean, they're just covering it, right? But the problem is that the neoliberals refuse to hold corporate interests accountable, and they're the number one polluters. So any solution has to be filtered through them, and it turns into like a nothing solution every single time. I mean, guys, the entire concept of plastics recycling was a grift, was a con. The entire thing was a fucking con, dude. Right? They got us by the nipples. They got us by the nips. Right? So it's just depressing because the news keeps getting worse. It really does. It keeps getting more and more dire. It keeps getting more and more dire. And, you know, the pan demands of the world are basically winning the argument because that's the argument that's like, oh, we don't have to sacrifice anything. We don't have to do anything. There is no problem. It's all made up. It's a bunch of profit seeking by, you know, scientists who are trying to get money for their stupid research that they don't even need to do. Right? It's all a big lie, right? Well, that's great, because if it's all a big lie, then I don't have to do jack shit. We don't have to hold anybody accountable. So, I don't know. Just, you know. So yeah, this happened. Seems like our inability to help Africa develop and our inability to address the climate crisis are related. Clutch Cargo, on point. I wish I had my soundboard. 100%. Nailed it. 100%.
Path to finishing the NDA this week has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
So some in the comments are saying that this is what a mild stroke looks like. Of course, a major stroke would be far more violent. But some are saying that this is what a mild stroke looks like.
Are you good?
As you can see here, he's like, you know, he's told, okay, hey, let's get out of here, let's leave. He's like, okay.
Do you want to say anything else to the press?
He's not feeling anything. So he's like, no. And so then he walks over to the side. He doesn't even leave.
Go ahead, John.
He's like, all right, let's go. Let's fucking go, dude.
So this is we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the IRA. And
wow,
of course,
okay. And then just stands there. Yeah. So some are saying mild stroke. I mean, question is, he needs to retire and take a nap. Yeah, Lenny, 100%, 110%. There does need to be age limits. I think older people that are plugged into politics, that understand how things can get out of hand. And I'm not even saying like competency, but just like, you know, because government needs to represent the population. You know, it needs to represent the demographics of the population. And there is a risk of government becoming kind of a gerontocracy. I don't know if you've heard that word before. Hey, Chrono Stampede, everybody, make sure you check out Chrono Stampede's Twitch channel. And also make sure you check out Lenny's amazing YouTube channel, Accidents Waiting to Happen. Just released another amazing video on baby safety, on how it's very important to secure, you know, your shelves and various things to the wall. And IKEA has apparently made some death traps that one should look out for. Feinstein's the same way, 100%. And look, I mean, this man, he could have retired 20 years ago as a multimillionaire and lived like a king. And he wants to hold on until the last breath. That's how much he cares about the party, right? This man would do anything for the Republican Party. Not America, the Republican Party. Right? This man and his policies are the reason why we have Trump. Right? And, you know, before you start, look, I'm not going to sit here and dance on his grave and say, oh, yeah, this is really great. He had a, you know, a stroke, glitch McConnell. Yeah, you know, do a fucking, you know, dance. Sure. Yeah, I have no respect for this man. He's absolutely evil, Mitch McConnell. And that's all I got to say. Like, I have no respect for the man because look at shit like this. I have it lined up here. Kansas governor has, quote, set the stage for ignoring law banning him from appointing a Dem if McConnell steps down. So this is the kind of shit that McConnell is up to. This is what he thinks is cool. This is about that project I keep telling you about, that the Republicans have about perpetual government, right? The fact, you know, the idea that, sure, you'll vote and vote and vote, but for some reason, a Republican always gets in, right? They never step down. They never lose their power. They're setting up laws that allow them to do that. According to a report from the Washington Times, should Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell decide to step down due to health concerns, Kentucky's Democratic governor has already made the constitutional case that he can pick a Democrat to fill the seat despite a law the state GOP majority passed in 2021. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about precedent. They have a Supreme Court that is fully conservative and will side with them on anything. It does not matter. It does not matter. They can break whatever law that they want. Let me just make this a little larger for you so you can read along. And let me just, okay, the advertisements. My God, I mean, news is expensive, folks. With questions being raised about how long the senior Republican still remains in Congress after an incident last week where he stood stock still and appeared unable to speak before reporters, only to be led away by some of his GOP colleagues, attention in Kentucky has turned to who will be his inevitable replacement. As it stands now, McConnell's term does not expire until 2026 after winning re-election in 2020. According to the Washington Times, in 2021, a GOP supermajority overrode Democratic Governor Andy Beshear's veto of a bill that requires, quote, the governor to file midterm vacancies in the U.S. Senate from a list of 3 candidates chosen by the state party of the previous sitting senator, unquote. It's all very boring, right? Well, this is how they take over the country, with this boring nonsense. As Michael Abate, a Louisville attorney who has assisted the Kentucky Democratic Party, explained, Beshear may ignore the law, appoint a Democrat, and challenge the Republican legislator to take him to court. Quote, I would imagine you would absolutely see a lawsuit on this, he stated. He added, Beshear either says, hey, Republican Party, thank you for your list, but I'm appointing whoever I want, and then that immediately gets challenged in court, or you could see Beshear taking the route of filing a lawsuit. I mean, he's got the guts to defy it. No, I think you should. I mean, if this was a Republican, he would just do it and then drag it out in court as long as possible. We've already seen that with gerrymandering cases in Florida. They're being challenged on their gerrymandering, but they're trying to, because it's the law on the books while it's being challenged in court. So they're trying to drag it out to the next election. Which is it's hilarious corruption. It's hilarious naked corruption right in front of our fucking eyes. The Washington Times, Kerry Pickett reports, quote, in Kentucky, Mr. Beshear set the stage to challenge the 2021 law when he declared it unconstitutional and vetoed it. The legislator's Republican supermajority overrode the veto. In a veto message, the governor cited the U.S. Constitution's 17th Amendment, passed in 1912, which states that the legislature, quote, may empower the executive to make temporary appointments to fill a Senate vacancy. So this was settled in 1912, and the Republicans are now challenging it. Mitch McConnell is now challenging it. As Beshear wrote at the time, quote, the bill upends a century of precedent. A century, that's 100 years. A century of precedent by delegating the power to select a representative of all Kentuckians to this is what this Steve Bannon's project is all about. We're seeing it. We're seeing it in action. The bill upends a century of precedent by delegating the power to select a representative of all Kentuckians to an unelected unaccountable committee of an organization that represents only a fraction of Kentuckians. The 17th Amendment does not authorize legislatures to direct how the government makes an appointment to fill vacancies, and the legislature may not impose an additional qualification on who the governor may appoint beyond the qualifications for a United States senator set forth in the Constitution. We're seeing it in action. I've been warning you. I've been telling you. They have a plan. They're implementing it. You know, and they got these diehard weirdos. These fucking weirdos, dude, that will die for this shit. This man doesn't care about you, doesn't care about himself. He'll die on the podium, taking away your health care, ruining your life. He'll fucking he'll keel over, right? And if his dead, dying corpse can land on the button that removes another right or liberty from you, he would try to hit it. Okay? He's the worst. He is the worst. This was interesting. The 48-hour news cycle, not really capitalizing on this, right? We see this, right? And there's ways to talk about this. There's ways to talk about this without being disrespectful to old people, to the wiser folks in our lives. But we've seen basically silence, right? And why do you think we've seen silence? Because of Dianne Feinstein, because of Nancy Pelosi, because of Joe Biden, right? That's why. So this John Cooper guy, seriously, is any member of the DC political press going to ask whether Mitch McConnell just suffered a stroke in front of live TV? Just imagine the press reaction if this had happened to President Biden. 100%. 100%. The right-wing media would be, what's the word? Apoplectic, right? I think that's the right use of the word. The right-wing media would be jerking their fucking gherkin. Okay, that's what they'd be doing. They'd be so goddamn excited they'd fucking pop a vein. Start, capillaries start popping, right? They start nosebleeds on air. Oh my God. This is the next story for the next 6 months. Right? And what do we see from MSNBC? I mean, I'm subscribed because I hate myself. Right? I'm one of those political guys that hate watches MSNBC. Yeah, I'm one of those. So I hate myself. And it's a lot of silence on Mitch McConnell. And like I said, you can talk about this without being disrespectful, right? Like your average Fox News person would be, right? Biden's in diapers. Meanwhile, Trump wears diapers every single day. Biden doesn't wear diapers. Probably has a regular bowel movement every single day. What are we talking about? Moving on. When they drag you down to their level, this is the shit that you start, right? This is the shit that bubbles up when you're down here in the fucking depths of their depravity, the right wing. Yeah, I'm blaming the right wing for my own depravity. That's right. I'm in zero control. All right, so here's our daily dose of Trump. Keep it in your pants, Panda Man. Trump maintains lead over Republican rival DeSantis, poll shows. I had money on DeSantis being good. I put money on DeSantis being competent. I feel like such a fool. I feel like such a fool. Unfortunately, it's the Biden-McConnell alliance that's determining the direction of the country. That is such a great point, Clutch Cargo, because the famous quote from Nancy Pelosi recently, right? I want a strong Republican Party, right? I want to have a strong Republican Party. Biden and McConnell do agree on a lot of things, don't they? Right? And that's one of the major problems. The corporate interests have captured both parties very successfully. All right. But here's your daily dose of Trump. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes, you're hearing that correctly. Trump's team using part of a country music song to turn his criminal allegations into a dry joke? How very meta. Otherwise, the presidential candidates delivered their messages candidly.
I will keep men out of women's sports, and you know, nobody's been tougher on that than me.
Reverse racism is racism. We must restore.
Who? I love it. I love it. I love it. They get a brown guy up there, and what's the thing that he wants to talk about? How white racism exists. They hate us. They do think that we're fucking idiots. They do.
Reverse racism is racism.
We must restore this country to greatness.
A red wave didn't materialize in 2022 when it should.
Because I think this country's in a lot of trouble.
A vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Kamala Harris.
That was Nikki Haley, former UN ambassador. And this is her showing us around her backstage suite. All the hopefuls had one, in fact. Ron DeSantis was blessed in his by a man with a baseball in his hand. Each had their own 10 minutes to woo the crowd. For some, that was time enough.
The revolution of 2024, here we come.
Vivek Ramaswamy, an entrepreneur and political newbie, sound familiar, received a standing ovation. Things didn't work quite so well in Will Hurd's case.
Donald Trump is running to stay out of prison. And if we elect... I know.
That brings us to the
they cut out the part he says the truth hurts. He says, I know, truth hurts. The truth hurts. Oh, that sucks. Channel 4, you suck.
President. His speech, full of familiar phrases, it's crooked Biden he uses now, also contained outright lies.
They rigged the presidential election in 2020. We're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election of 2024. They used COVID to cheat.
Just the day before this annual Republican dinner, new charge.
He just throws that in, just a brand new thing that he's saying now. They use COVID to cheat. What does that fucking mean? Now he's just throwing that shit in, dude. Oh, by the way, this new shit, they're using COVID to cheat. What? It's a new thing. It's a new thing I made up. It's the hot new lie. It never ends. It never fucking ends, man.
Charges were filed against Mr. Trump over his alleged mishandling of classified files. Prosecutors allege 2 employees of the former president tried to delete security video at the heart of the Mar-a-Lago documents case.
The 2024 election is our last shot to save America, and there's only one candidate, and you know who that candidate is? Who's going to get the job done.
There's only one candidate.
Mr. Trump pleaded not guilty to earlier charges in the investigation. But clearly none of this will stop him from trying to get his old job back.
There you go. That's your daily dose of Trump. I'm a political commentator, if I may be so bold to call myself that. Look, I'm not lying. I watch this garbage. Look at it being recommended to me. Look at this. Jen Psaki, dude. Her show is atrocious. She sucks. I don't know who her writers are. I don't know, she sucks, dude. She's like a crappier version of Rachel Maddow, if that was even possible. But no, I was saying, look, I'm a political commentator. I hate Trump. I hate his guts. But he's one funny motherfucker. He is just hilarious. He is hilarious to look at. He sounds hilarious. Everything he says sounds hilarious. He's the funniest human being alive. Just naturally, just like the weirdest, funniest. He is such an enigma, dude. He is such a weird anomaly. Why doesn't Canada have a Trump? We had Trump emulators. Pierre Poilievre is trying to emulate some MAGA stuff. to no success. The Ford family is very Trumpian. The Ford family is very Trumpian for sure. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Chem Goblin. The jokes are over, right? The funny, it's time to get serious. I totally agree. Thank you for reminding me of that. I'm just saying it's Saki. Thank you, Saki. Okay. I always get her name wrong. It's spelled weird. Saki. I watched a few clips from her show on the YouTube there. It's trash. It's fucking trash. Get her off the air. You suck. Like who's your writers, dude? Like fucking, sitcom writers from the 90s. Like these jokes are fucking flat, dude. They suck. Why are you telling jokes? Saki? So here just another example of right-wing, outright fascism from the right-wing Conservative Party. No matter how bad the gaslighters want to tell you otherwise, it's right-wing fascism. Houston, Texas school district is now eliminating librarians and replacing school libraries with quote-unquote discipline centers after Texas Republicans forcibly took over the district using state power. They call them discipline centers, replacing libraries with them. There you go. You don't need to ban the books if you just to get rid of the library, right? I'm not banning a book. I'm just reallocating resources. Oh, yeah. Amazon delivery. Hey, man. Thank you so much. Oh. Can I tell you my laptop? Thank you. Ooh, did I get anything good? Oh, it's a bunch of baby shit. Bunch of baby crap. All right. Well, my point is made. Right. They are fascist. And they have a problem with education. They have a problem with education because education teaches people to think critically. They're masking this under a protect the kids, kind of. Sorry, the Amazon guy threw me off a bit. Look, all the barbers are Zoomers. Okay, all the barbers are 21 years old. Okay, because that's the only one willing to cut hair. They were so cheap. I gave them like a huge tip. It's like, God damn, dude. In San Francisco, a male haircut's over $50. But they were so cheap. Anyway, I don't know how many examples I need to give people to me to prove you're right. Everyone in the chat basically agrees except for a few bad actors. He wishes he could grow a beard. I'm all right. Hey man, it's hot as hell, dude. It's 1,000,000 fucking degrees. Are you kidding me? Woo! I am like, seriously, right? I'm like smoking right now. This climate change is real. But the Republican, what I'm trying to say is that the Republican attempt to take over democracy is real. Don't listen to the gaslighters. There's a real effort to subvert democracy, right? This isn't just about winning and being the president, and this is some election thing, right? And I'm like, yeah, Joe Biden, and like I'm on some team. They are trying to destroy the fundamental system of the country that we love. That's what I'm trying to get at. Kronos, nice. Boy, I really do wish I had my soundboard because I'd be cooling it with the anti-Semitic remarks right now. But here's further proof that Israel is doing a full-blown apartheid against the Palestinian people. Here we see the IDF pouring cement into water springs south of Hebron, occupied Palestine. So this is an area that Israel wants to take over in Palestine, right? Illegally. Accepted internationally that this attempt to take over all of Palestine is illegal. So this is how they get people out of here. This is a water source, right? To prevent Palestinians from using it for agriculture amidst an ongoing heat wave. So this is Israel illegally occupying Palestinian territory and filling water sources with cement. As you can see here, it's a farm. You can see and yeah, the judicial reform is pushed through. I expected nothing less. Israel is officially no longer a democracy. There's really no semblance of it. But the United States funds this. Uncle Sam funds this. We might have paid for the cement. We might have paid for the fucking cement truck. This is really happening, and we're really paying for it. I got no audio for some reason. But this is how they do it. This is how they do it. They have no right to be there. The international community outside of the United States and like a couple others, say that, Israel is committing an apartheid against the Palestinians. And this is what we see. This is the stuff that doesn't get on Morning Joe. Morning Joe somehow just doesn't find the time for stories like this. Right? But this is what they do. Just to, hey, it's a heat wave. Oh, there's a water source. Fill it up with cement. Just disgusting. So you remember, loyal viewers of the stream would remember that spicy video I showed you. Here, I'll show it again because it's really funny. It's really great. Just find it here. It was in the chat somewhere. Oh God, it got buried. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. So this commercial is just smoking hot.
Do you have a condom?
Yeah. Sorry, you can't use those.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning birth control.
This is our decision, not yours. Get out of our bedroom.
I won the last election. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna watch and make sure you don't do anything illegal.
Now this, it's funny, but it's 100% true. I mean, how are they going to legislate some of this stuff? They're going, soon they're going to start going after interracial marriage. Are you going to start going after anal sex next? But no, I mean, Republicans are passing laws about how you are allowed to, fiddle your diddle, so to speak. That is 100% true. That is 100% true. Stomper, thank you for that follow. So Elon Musk decided that, there's been some amazing controversies. I'll list them off in a second. So all that stuff is fine. But that ad that we just saw, oh, that's too much, and is trying to ban it off X, his rebrand of Twitter. Mr. Free Speech. I mean, the man said he was like Mr. Free Speech, right? Doing this for free speech. I love free speech. Banning that commercial that we just saw. Right? And so someone in the chat here listed off just all the controversies just as of late. Child pornography apparently being posted, and then the person who posted it being reinstated. Hold on here. Let me just find this list. Yeah, so Matt Walsh's documentary, that's perfectly fine. Filled with falsehoods. Provable falsehoods. Unscientific falsehoods in Matt Walsh's What is a Woman documentary. Oh, yeah, this comment was funny. Nothing has gone more predictably than Musk's takeover of Twitter. It's so true. All the cynics were 100% correct, right? Elon Musk has done nothing but prove the cynics correct. Yeah. Yeah, so I can't find this list here. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, this guy who posted CP and then was reinstated? What the fuck? That's what everyone's talking about. All right, I can't find the list, but there's just, there's just a lot of like really shady shit that's allowed to go down on X now. Where do we go? Is it Mastodon? Is it Mastodon? So Davey posted this. Relevant because Panda Man was telling us, during the end of my streams, I encourage everybody to, follow my 3-step program to create political change. Step 1, inform yourself. Step 2, join a progressive political organization in your area. And step 3, put in the work. Panda Man said, well, what's wrong with activism for the Libertarian Party? So here's what the Libertarian Party believes in. This is what the Libertarian Party believes in. You tell me if this, 1, sounds fascistic, and 2, sounds extremely un-American. So a good libertarian candidate for president would be against democracy, reject neocon framing on Ukraine and China, be non-woke, pro-merit, whatever that could mean, support secession. Support secession from the Union, I assume. Just break up the entire Union. Recognize property rights allow for progressive and conservative social views. Oh, yeah. Endorse repealing civil rights agenda. This is what your libertarian, these guys, a lot of conservatives claim to be libertarian. This is what they believe in. Some fast shit. That's some fascist shit right there. And yeah, let the right-wing states secede. Let the moochers get kicked out of the union. What would Texas look like without California's tax money? Huh? What would Kentucky look like without California's tax money? So go ahead and secede, you fucking bastards. Do it. Leave. Don't feed the troll, cargo. Okay? Just gonna hurt you. You can't fight stupid. You can't fight the kung fu master of stupid, okay? He'll beat you every time. So this is horrific news, speaking of climate and just waste in general. But a burning ship off the Dutch coast that was filled with electric vehicles has caught fire. Thousands of electric cars are burning. And these are like lithium fires, right? These are like straight up lithium fires, right? A freight ship that caught fire off of the Dutch coast has been burning since, as fire extinguishers tried to figure out, has been burning since, and then nothing, okay? As fire extinguishers try to figure out ways to tackle the incident, has been carrying nearly 500 electric cars. So apparently there's far more than 500. Initial reports said that the ship was carrying 25 electric cars. No. The Fremantle Highway vessel, which has been burning for a fourth day off the Dutch coast, was characterized by Japanese transportation company K-Line. A spokesperson for the company said that there were 3,783 vehicles on board, including 498 battery electric vehicles. I see. So it was a mixture of just, normal vehicles and electric vehicles. The spokesperson declined to comment on the kinds of car brands that were on the ship. There's no information on whether the cargo ship was carrying cars by Japanese manufacturers. Terrible stuff here. These lithium fires, it's a good thing it was in the ocean. That's a good spot. That's a good spot for a lithium fire. Right there. Nasty. Nasty. Bet it stinks to high heaven, too. It's the sea salt. I heard that it can actually trigger the violent reaction, right? The salty water. Yeah. The salty water triggers a violent reaction with lithium batteries. I've heard that. I saw that on like some kind of YouTube Mythbusters thing or something. Firemen need special equipment to put out lithium fires because you don't want to spray them with water. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to get comfortable here. I might have to set up a little seat here in a second. But anyway, just wanted to show that. Okay, folks, and then we're going to try to do the mass shooting update without my wonderful music here. But just real quick, just for consistency's sake, here's all the people that died in America because they refused to change gun laws. There's been 476 U.S. mass shootings in 2023 so far. 5,611 mass shootings in 2020 since 2013, and there's been one whole day since the last mass shooting. 1 dead and 3 injured in Tampa, Florida, gunman unknown. 0 dead and 5 injured in Seattle, Washington. 1 dead and 4 injured in Ford Heights, Illinois, gunman unknown. 0 dead and 4 injured in Houston, Texas, juvenile victim, 16-year-old boy among the wounded, gunman unknown. Over there in Pittsburgh, PA, 0 dead and 5 injured, juvenile victims. All 5 wounded victims were reported to be juveniles. Gunman unknown. We must defeat the nihilism that is growing in the youth. They will destroy us. The young will eat us alive. Okay? The young will eat us alive if we don't show them a better way outside of nihilism. Look at this, man. Juvenile victims, 16-year-old boys. Terrible. All right, there you go. That's your mass shooting update. Thank you so much, YouTube. We're moving on to our Ukraine update. Thank you.